My partner, with whom I lived and loved for 27 years, died on the 13th of October 2020, which also happened to be my birthday. Can you imagine anything more ruthless than dying on your partner's birthday? So I was left sad and lonely and feeling all the things one feels when the person on whom you've relied always to be there suddenly vanishes. Anyway, a few months later, a friend said to me, "Jenny, are you going to remain single and sexless for the rest of your life? I mean, you always liked having men around you." I said, "Look, I had a very good relationship. It's over. I'm certainly not going to look for another partner. I mean, a bit of fun and entertainment, that wouldn't come amiss. But which man is going to want a woman of 72? She said, "Well, why don't you research that a bit and write about it?" Well, if anybody suggests to me that I write about something, they've got me. Finding a dating site, that was the easy part. But there are things that confront a woman of my age. There is a reason why a lot of my heterosexual women friends of my age, and even quite a lot younger, say, "I've done with sex. I've done with men." I mean, to be honest, you just have to look at what's on offer for a woman of 60. Yeah, and then there's the image that society has of us women. We are supposed to be young and beautiful, look like Heidi Klum, have breasts like Kim Kardashian until they carry us to the grave. But there's another issue that made me hesitant. You've probably all heard about, I'm not allowed to use the brand name, but let's call it the little blue pill that older men sometimes use for support. I think you know what I'm talking about. We all talk about it. There are advertisements, there are even jokes. But who of you have actually heard of estriol? Huh? Estriol? No? Oh, yeah, a couple. Okay, good. Estriol is actually the female equivalent of the little blue pill. Because what happens to a woman's body when she reaches the menopause? It changes. Her estrogen level sinks. How much or how fast, that varies from woman to woman. This has an effect on her libido. In other words, she's not as horny as she used to be. And then there's also sometimes, how can I put this delicately, her sexual apparatus doesn't function as well as it used to. Things don't go so smoothly. Anyway, I considered all this. I weighed up the probability of sitting lonely and unloved in my flat for the rest of my life, with the possibility, however small, of maybe having a few more nice moments and even maybe a bit of sex before I died. And then I enrolled on a dating site and waited. So imagine waking up in the morning, checking that all your limbs are still there, and you can remember your daughter's name, and you hear ping on your telephone, and you read this. You are a blooming example of how pretty and sexy a woman of 70 can be. First thing in the morning. Here's another one. You are truly beautiful. You have an indescribable smile. These were both written by men in their 40s. The one was, I think, 41, the other was 45 or something. Some of them were a bit more daring. Here's one. I look forward to holding you, to feeling you, and to tasting you. They all want to taste me. They all want to, what they call, spoil me. I tell you, and this is not a word of a lie, if I wanted to, I could have oral sex every day of the week with a man under 50. I don't do it. A lot of them I ignore or, I chat a little bit. I don't take it very seriously. But then came Alex. Alex was 57, perhaps a bit too old for me. He was single. He lived in a flat in the 14th district, which is very near where I live, and he was self-employed. He did something with computers. I never quite found out what. Anyway, Alex and I started chatting, and it went from small talk to flirting to erotic. It was amazing. I had never dreamed what fantasies just words on a screen could evoke. I felt as if I was 16 again. My whole day revolved around waiting for messages from Alex. Eventually, we agreed to meet. I was completely hysterical. I went to the hairdresser. I went to the beautician. I went to the wax institute. I wanted to be completely prepared for Alex. 2 hours before the appointed time, I got a message from him. He was heartbroken. He had to cancel our date. His biggest client was making problems. I didn't quite believe him, but I gave him a second chance. This time he canceled 3 days before. Okay, goodbye, Alex. Alex, finito. Till a couple of weeks later, suddenly, he wrote to me and said he was going to be in my neighborhood on Friday and could he visit me? I said yes. I didn't really believe it. I didn't do much. But sure enough, 11 o'clock on Friday morning, the doorbell rang. I opened the door, and there stood Alex. He was more corpulent than in his photos. Much more. He must have used Photoshop. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I invited him inside. I had prepared coffee and biscuits. He started drinking the coffee and downing the biscuits. His name wasn't Alex. His name was Wolfgang. Okay, now I don't want to insult anybody in the audience that's called Wolfgang. But Alex happens to be one of my favorite names. Alex is bisexual. Alex is international. Wolfgang was quite a letdown. He wasn't single. He was married. He didn't live in a flat alone in the 14th district. He lived in a villa with his family, with garden and swimming pool in Thun, 30 kilometers outside Vienna. Okay. When he had finished drinking his coffee and eaten the last biscuit, he gazed at me lovingly and said, "Shall we go to bed?" No. We shall not go to bed. He wasn't offended. You know, he saw there were no more biscuits. He kissed me goodbye, and off he went. So that was the luck of the game, isn't it? I still chat. Sometimes I meet men. Sometimes, occasionally, I even have sex. And I haven't had so much fun in years. It's a kind of hobby. I mean, it may seem like a strange description, but I would say it's good, clean fun. Now, I'm not recommending that every woman does this. If a woman wants to bow out of the sexual stage for whatever reason, that is her personal decision. This speaks a lot for it. But when we consider that the average life expectancy for women nowadays in Western societies is 84, and the average age when women reach menopause is 51, that means there are a hell of a lot of women spending the last 30 years of their lives, so to say, high and dry. And I'm not sure if that's such a good thing. I mean, there are fears, there are inhibitions. I had them as well. You might not want to take a whole chemist shop to bed with you, or risk rejection, or have to sift through lots of boring men before you find one that's halfway suitable. But on the other hand, you might think to yourself, as I thought, what have I got to lose? And the rewards may be worth it. Thank you.